If you love Frozen as much as we do, you're probably fed up of waiting for its sequel to come out. Well, looks like you'll have to wait a little longer, but don't worry, we have something that'll tie you over until then. Watch until the end to find out why Kristen Bell will be getting less screen time in Frozen 2. Are you a Disney fan? If so, don't forget to give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to The Things for more great content. Now let's dive into the 10 dark secrets about Frozen 2 Disney doesn't want you to know.
Hold.
The release date. If there's one thing every Disney fan can agree on, it's that Frozen is one of the best animated movies of all time. The world was hit by a craze the very second it came out into theaters, and its sequel shouldn't be any different. While it may be hard to believe that it's been 6 years since Frozen's initial release, it's the truth. This is confirmed by the fact that Frozen 2 is rapidly approaching a theater near you. When fans first caught wind of a sequel, they immediately began searching the internet for release dates and inside information. However, the Disney production did everything they could to keep their plans under wraps. When it comes to actress Kristen Bell, however, she's comfortable giving us the inside scoop. During an interview, the actress who plays Anna revealed that the Frozen 2 production was moving on rather slowly. The reason behind this being that Disney wanted to release a sequel that made the original proud. Since lowering their standards to release Frozen 2 on time isn't an option, we're left here waiting on the sidelines. Bell also spoke about why Disney took so long to announce the sequel, stating that they wanted direction before the entire world caught up with their intentions. With everything going on, it's only normal that it took about 6 years for Disney to perfect the most anticipated sequel of all time.
Your powers really are beautiful, Elsa.
Kristen Bell couldn't wait to work with Sterling K. Brown. When you're rich and famous, you basically run with a different crowd. With this in mind, it's sometimes hard to believe that stars can get starstruck by celebrated actors and singers too. By now, most of us love Kristen Bell, or at least know one or two of her movies, which pretty much makes her a worldwide celebrity. Regardless of this, there's one actor she can't seem to keep her cool around. When Bell found out that Sterling K. Brown would possibly be joining in on Frozen 2, she basically started to jump for joy. Bell went as far as telling reporters that she loves her some Sterling and would rocket to the moon if she got to work with him. Turns out her wish came true because months later, Disney confirmed that Brown would be joining the Frozen 2 cast. Brown auditioned for one of the new lead roles, and obviously directors saw something that they liked. While Disney has kept Brown's character top secret, many of us are just happy to hear that he's on board. Are you excited to find what this actor's mysterious role will be? We sure are. After all, he could potentially become the king of Arendelle. The Snow Queen was 70 years in the making. Coming up with a storyline like Frozen's isn't an easy thing to do. In fact, it took Disney years before deciding to actually give this movie a go. However, like most great films, the Frozen storyline wasn't invented. It was inspired by a previously existing story. Have you ever heard of the Snow Queen story? If so, you probably know it took Disney a total of 70 years to make a movie adaptation of this great novel. Hans Christian Andersen, and it dates all the way back to the Snow White era. Like most Disney movies, Frozen is based off of a dark and devastating story. Regardless of this, Disney writers and animators always find a way to turn it into something light and inspiring. Have any of you noticed how Disney movies are keeping up with the times? Whereas once they told tales of gallant heroes and frightened damsels, they're now encouraging women to stand on their own 2 feet. In the end, Disney chose to go with their gut and create a modern-day fairy tale about 2 sisters, and we're not complaining. We're just curious to see what Frozen 2 has in store for us. Where Anna's personality came from. When a writer creates a script, they have a certain image of what their character will be like. Funny enough, Princess Anna's character was supposed to be a lot different than the one we know and love. Instead of being a quirky and headstrong character, she was written as a young girl with a princess complex. When actress Kristen Bell was cast as Anna, she couldn't help but feel like something was wrong. Whereas she would normally connect with her character, she just couldn't seem to get on board with her. So what it all came down to was her needing some creative freedom. Instead of going by the book, Belle used her own personality to influence Anna's. Luckily for her, directors were happy with the switch and even encouraged it. In order to help animators create the perfect Anna, cameras were set to film Belle as she read her lines. This allowed them to mimic Belle's facial expressions and body language. All in all, Anna wouldn't be the lovely character she is if Belle hadn't been casted. Can you imagine having to deal with a preppy princess? We sure can't. Keep watching to find out why Anna and Elsa might bump heads in the sequel. The internet is going wild with theories. If there's one thing everyone gets tired of, it's waiting long periods of time for something they want right now. Most Frozen fans know exactly how this feels, especially since they've been patiently waiting for a sequel since 2013. So what do people do when they're looking forward to something? They start trying to piece the puzzle together themselves. Ever since Disney announced that Frozen 2 would be hitting the big screen, fans have been losing their marbles. To keep themselves occupied, they've been creating some pretty wild fan theories. Sure, fan theories might be a little far-fetched, but they're also a lot of fun. A good thing to keep in mind, though, is to never get your hopes up, because we never know what the sequel holds. After browsing the internet for theories, it's pretty clear that fans are going a little dark. Since Frozen left on a good note, fans expect the sequel to take a turn for the worst. Some fans believe that Elsa and Olaf will become an item by the end of the movie. However, others think that this beloved character will say his final goodbye. While there's no way of knowing if any of these theories are true, there is one thing that's for certain: the internet is going crazy. Do you have any Frozen 2 theories? If so, drop them in the comments and see if anyone agrees with you. Zootopia is riddled with Frozen 2 references. As many of you already know, Disney loves to make some low-key cameos in their films. This is why various Disney objects and characters can be spotted in a scene's background from time to time. 3 years ago, after Frozen came out in theaters, Disney released Zootopia. While everything seemed normal at first glance, some fans realized that Zootopia was actually riddled with Frozen 2 references. While this could be a coincidence, it's definitely meant to rile up the Frozen fans around the world. Throughout the movie, young animal children are seen wearing similar Elsa and Anna outfits around town. In addition, Chief Bogo is also seen telling Judy to let it go when she takes her duties a little too far.
So let it go.
If this isn't enough for you, there's also a scene when a mock cover of what appears to be Frozen 2 is being sold at Duke's movie shop. However, this time it goes by the name of Floatzen 2. All this to say that Disney is laughing as we twiddle our thumbs while waiting for November 27th, 2019 to arrive. We don't know about you, but we're growing impatient. Which character are you most excited to see come 2019? Kristen Bell is patiently waiting for the movie to come out. Last time we checked in with Kristen Bell, she was starting to get excited about voicing Anna's lines. However, months passed before she was actually able to start working on the project. Now that Frozen 2's release date is almost a year away, Bell has some new information for us. In April of 2018, the actress appeared on the Ellen DeGeneres Show, where she confirmed that she'd recently finished recording Frozen 2. The gifted actress made sure to tell us that edits would eventually be made, but for the most part, filming was complete. If there's one thing Belle didn't hesitate to say, is that she knew how the movie would end, and which songs would undoubtedly become bangers. Since keeping secrets isn't her strong suit, Belle is as excited as we are to see the movie come to life. Belle also went on to say that her youngest daughter isn't exactly a fan of the franchise. While she blames it on her age, some people just aren't up for building a snowman. Despite having many reasons to get excited over Frozen 2's release, it's still a while away, so hold your horses. Frozen 2 isn't your typical Disney sequel. When you think about it, Frozen is one of the most unique Disney movies of all. There are obviously plenty to choose from, but Queen Elsa is the only Disney character to possess mutant-like qualities. Sure, Rapunzel has her magical hair, and Cinderella has a fairy godmother, but Elsa is the real deal through and through, and it's uncommon for Disney movies to get a sequel. However, it is common for these sequels to go straight to DVD. With this in mind, it's quite astonishing that Frozen 2 is predicted to be as successful as its original. What makes this sequel even more special is that it's not going to follow Frozen's timeline. With this in mind, there's no way of knowing just what's going to happen. Disney has stated that the direction of Frozen 2 will be 100% different, and by this they mean that a new protagonist is going to take the stage. When a sequel makes it to the box office, this usually means that the same protagonists are going to be used. So with this in mind, Frozen 2 is breaking all of the rules. But wait, who's going to be the frontliner? Move over, Anna. Here comes Elsa. Just as we thought, Frozen 2 was making way for Elsa's grand debut. Despite the fact that Elsa was present in the first Frozen movie, we couldn't help but wish that we'd gotten to know her on a more personal level. Well, you're in luck because Elsa is said to be the main protagonist of the sequel. Now that the Ice Queen has come to terms with her powers, she's bound to want to start building her future. Co-director Chris Buck made it clear that the sequel would shift its focus away from Anna and Kristoff and onto Elsa and whoever she ends up with. Despite undergoing a major transformation in Frozen, Elsa still has a long way to go. Truth is, there's so much about Elsa that we don't know. Maybe we'll finally find out where her mysterious powers come from. Now that it's been confirmed that Elsa is taking over, this makes us wonder about Anna's role and influence throughout the film, and mainly whether or not Kristen Bell is going to get a good amount of screen time. For the time being, it looks like Elsa and Anna will be bumping heads for the #1 spot. So, who's your favorite sister, Elsa or Anna? Nothing will ever top Let It Go. Once again, our only news source is the hilarious Kristen Bell. The actress came clean about Frozen 2 while being interviewed by E! News. She spoke about how grateful she was to her fans for allowing her to continue her Frozen journey as Anna. She also mentioned that there were more Frozen songs out there than Disney previously let on. Since only the best songs are chosen, there's a few that got placed on the back burner, which pretty much means we'll never hear them. During the interview, Belle spoke of the sequel soundtrack with a high volume of enthusiasm. However, when asked if any of its songs would top Let It Go, the actress simply laughed. According to her, no song will ever top this acclaimed track. There's just no way. She does, however, feel like Frozen 2 will be jam-packed with some glorious hits. For the time being, we'd love to get our hands on the unreleased soundtrack. After all, Do You Want to Build a Snowman? Almost didn't make a cut. Which Frozen song was your favorite? Drop us a lyric in the comments if you're excited for Frozen 2. And that's a wrap. We hope you're even more excited for Frozen 2 than before. Thanks for watching and see you next time.